Building an aesthetic body can change your life. It changed my belly, my face, and how I look in clothes. And the coolest thing about it is that you don't even need a gym membership. You don't need all that fancy gym bro equipment, and you can build an aesthetic body at home. This video will show you how you can do that and why 99% of people actually fail when they try. Let's get into it. An aesthetic body, when it comes to upper body, is a V-tapered upper body with wide shoulders, developed chest, developed back, some arms, and some abs. That shoulder to waist ratio is critical, so the V-taper is what you should focus on. Then in the lower body, you want round, juicy glutes, the butt, very, very strong and relatively proportionately developed quads and hamstrings, and that's really what's going to round out your aesthetic physique. Now let's get into how to build that physique at home when you don't have access to the gym. And the first thing that you need to do is hit the biggest muscles with the biggest exercises. What are the biggest muscles? It's the chest, it's the back, it's the quads, it's the hamstrings, and it's the glutes. These are the muscles you should be focusing on when you train at home. But instead, what is it that most people do? Too much arm training, too much abs training. They think training their arms, just doing all these curls, doing endless crunches and push-ups is going to get them to the aesthetic body. It's not going to do it. You need to be targeting the biggest muscles in your body. Next, so what are the exercises you should be doing? The main thing for your chest is going to be push-ups, is going to be dips. Remember those two exercises. They're your bread and butter. If you only did those two and variations of those two, you would be golden. For the back, it's going to be chin-ups or pull-ups and some form of rows. And the bodyweight row that we're going to use is inverted rows. One of the most underrated bodyweight exercises you could imagine. Now let's get onto the lower body. What is going to be the way to hit the lower body? Of course, you know this already. It's going to be forms of squats and deadlifts. For a lot of people, just doing these endless bodyweight squats is not the way to go, because you can do like 20 reps, 30 reps, and it just becomes like high intensity cardio a little bit. And nobody wants to just feel tired. It's boring. Why don't you make the exercise a little bit more challenging by doing it one leg? Bulgarian split squats. Instead of doing normal deadlifts, do single leg deadlifts. You're starting to challenge your balance. You're engaging your abs and therefore indirectly training your abs instead of doing all these crunches. Plus, it's going to help your functionality and athleticism because you're working your balance and stability all the time. And you'll be staying in that critical rep range where you build muscle, which is, you know, around 4 to 12, maybe even 15 reps, but you're not going too high into plus 15, 20, 25 reps where you're really just building endurance rather than muscle. Next, most people train in this military mindset of just doing more reps. Oh, I can do 40 push-ups, I can do 60, I can do 80, and you just get into this competition of who can do more push-ups. You get an insane pump out of it, and don't get me wrong, it can feel good, but do you want to do 70 push-ups every day? Is that enjoyable for you? You're just building your muscular endurance more than your strength and your actual muscle growth. What do you do instead? You gotta make it like gym training. So once you can do 12 or 15 reps, instead of just doing more and more, start adding weight to your exercises. Get a weight vest, get a weight belt. Or you could make the exercise harder, like I said, by taking away one of the limbs. Instead of doing it with 2 arms, do it with 1 arm. Another way you could do it is changing the angle. Make the exercise harder. Instead of just doing normal push-ups, elevate your feet. Do handstand push-ups. These are ways you can make the exercise more challenging so that you stay in that critical rep range for muscle growth rather than exhausting yourself with endurance training, which is why most people fail with bodyweight training. If you guys wanted to actually know the exact routine, the exact way to do every exercise, and how to build up from the easiest exercise to the hardest exercise so that you can build that aesthetic body at home with the most minimal equipment, I made a whole program called Minimalist Bodyweight Training, and you can get that in the link below. Even if you didn't, just going off this material that I'm giving you right now, you'd be better off than 90% of people. Next, let's be honest, you can do a great workout with literally zero equipment, and I go into it in this video where I'm training at home with chairs and tables and bags filled with books and even raising my cat. Okay, that was a little bit of a joke, but if you can invest in some minimal equipment, it can really elevate your home training to the next level. And the best 3 things to invest in, hands down, is a pull-up bar, somewhere where you can do chin-ups or pull-ups. A dip bar, a pair of dip bars, super underrated because not only can you do dips, you can do inverted rows on them. And number 3 is going to be the weight belt. So as soon as you can do some great level of chin-ups, like 6 reps, 8 reps, get yourself a weight belt. As soon as you can do 8 dips, start adding weight to your dips This is how you make your home gym minimalist, but also badass. You can start to add weight to it. Now, you might be thinking, well, doesn't that mean I need to buy dumbbells or plates? You actually could. But what could you do instead? You could wear backpacks, you could put bags on the weight belt. You could be creative with this. But a weight belt is going to give you that element of weighted calisthenic training, which is one of the most underrated things you can do, especially if you're someone that doesn't want to go to the gym. Next, resistance bands, a pair of adjustable dumbbells, and a bench. Now what's happening? You're basically making a minimalist home gym. Resistance bands allow you to do face pulls, allow you to do overhead presses. You could do tricep extensions and bicep curls, and it just gives that kind of isometric, negative, constant tension training that normal dumbbell training doesn't. Adjustable dumbbells, you open yourself up to a whole world of curls and lateral raises and rear delt flies. A bunch of exercises obviously you can do with dumbbells. And also, if you just have a bench that can incline and go flat, you can do split squats, bench press. A whole world starts to open up. So if you have some space in your gym, these are the things that I would invest in. But again, you don't need any of this, except maybe a chin-up bar. You can do everything that we talked about that is really the most important with nothing. Like I said, I was doing dips with chairs, inverted rows with tables. Get creative. That's the name of the game. Next, the main way people mess up their bodyweight training is they think they need to sweat and go to fatigue and failure, because otherwise they don't feel like they worked out. If you want to build muscle, why should bodyweight training be that different to gym training? Instead of just going by sweat and fatigue, track your progress, progressively overload, make sure you're getting stronger. So if you did 10 dips, make sure you do 11 dips the next time. Track your progress. Make it serious. This is actually the biggest reason why most people fail, is because they don't take bodyweight training seriously. They either think of it as some makeshift thing, or they think of it as not gonna work. It's not that effective. It's not really like gym training. So they don't actually progressively overload and see their progress and slowly start to get stronger. But if you watch this video right now, and if you take my word of everything that I've told you, and you start doing push-ups, and instead of doing 20-30 reps, you start doing feet elevated push-ups, build up to one-arm push-up. You start doing dips and chin-ups, and once you can do 8 to 10 reps, you start adding weight to it, and you're tracking those workouts, seeing your progress, getting stronger each week. You will transform your body, and you will be training smarter than just about anyone that hasn't watched this video that's trying to do bodyweight training, except for the gymnasts and the professionals. Obviously, let's train hard. See you next week.